Hello friends, I'm Madhuri Naule. I welcome back you in my educational video channel. Today we are going to discuss about the new topic, that is basics of circuit analysis. Before that, I want to tell you what is the circuit analysis. See, in electrical circuit and network, there are various complicated electrical networks, and we have to simplify them for finding out the circuit current, voltage across any element, again the power in that circuit. So, this simplification of circuit for finding out the current, voltage and power is called as the circuit analysis. Now, there are the basic types of circuit analysis: AC circuits and DC circuits. In AC circuits, there are again two types: single phase AC circuit having the voltage level of 230 volt and frequency 50 hertz, and second type in AC circuit is the three phase AC circuit having the voltage level of 415 volt and frequency 50 hertz. Now, another type of electrical circuit is DC circuits, which is again divided as pure DC circuit or pulsating DC circuit, and this DC circuit having the frequency of 0 hertz. Now, what are the electrical circuit elements? See, the circuit elements are the components which connected to each other in the network. Here you can see we have connected here one inductor, resistor, capacitor, again this battery means voltage source. So R, L, C, then voltage source, current source, etc. are the circuit elements. Now we will see the concept of open circuit and short circuit. See, what is the open circuit? If the 2 points in the circuit are said to be open circuit if there is no connection or direct contact between them. For example, in this figure 1, the point A and B are open circuited, or there is no any contact or no any other element connected between these two circuits. Then it's called as the open circuit. In open circuit, the current will be 0, and of course therefore the resistance will be infinity, as current and resistance are inversely proportional. Now second is the short circuit. The 2 points in the circuit are said to be short circuited if they are connected to each other by a good conducting wire or any other element between them. For example, in this second diagram, the 2 points means A and B are connected by using one link, one wire, or we can connect one element here also. So here is the current flowing from A to B, which will be infinity, and resistance therefore will be the 0. Fine. Now we will see the concepts of branch, node or junction, and mesh or loop. See, while solving or while analyzing the electrical circuits and networks, we must know about nodes, branches, loops, meshes in the electrical circuit and network. Now we will discuss them one by one. We will see them how to determine the number of nodes, branches, loops or meshes in the circuit. First of all, we will see concept of branch. What is the branch? See, a branch of network is a group of elements connected either in parallel or series, and which has the two terminals from the connections. See, for example, in this figure there are the 7 branches. Here are the two terminals 1 and 2, and between these two terminals one element, that is resistance R1, is connected. So this 1 and 2 is called as the branch 1, 2. Again, for example, here the terminal 2 and 3, here also one element, that is resistance R3, is connected. So it will be also called as the branch. Again, branch 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 1, 6 and 2, 5. So here in this diagram there are the total 7 branches. And if there is no any element connected between these two terminals, then it will not be called as the branch. Fine. Now what is the node? See, node is the common point in the network at which two or more branches meet together. Okay, two or more branches. So here in this figure there are the 6 nodes. See, for example, see, this is the point 1. Here the branch 1, 2 is meeting here. Again the branch 1 6 is meeting here at point 1. At point 2, the branch 1 2, branch 2 3 and branch 2 5 is meeting here. What I have said, the two or more branches meet together, then it will be called as the node. Fine. So here in this diagram, point node 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6 nodes are here. Now we will see what is the junction. See, a junction is the common point in the network where 3 or more branches meet together. 3 or more branches. So in this figure, there are only 2 junctions. See, point 2. Here the branch 1, 2, 2, 3 and 2, 5 are meeting. Again at point 5, the branch 5, 6, branch 4, 5 and branch 2, 5 are meeting together. So, in this diagram, only 2 and 5 are the junctions. And it's very important to understand that a junction can be a node, but the node cannot be a junction. Fine. Now the next concept is mesh. Mesh is a closed loop which contains no other loop within it. Means what? See, in this diagram, here the nodes are not mentioned, but we know that in previous diagram here was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Fine. So in this diagram there are two meshes. Mesh 1, 2, 5, 6 and 1. Okay. Another mesh is 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. Fine. So separate two windows you are seeing here. So these two are called as the mesh. Fine. Now what is the loop? See, a closed path in a circuit where more than two meshes can occur is called as the loop. That is, there may be many meshes in the loop, but the mesh does not contain any loop. In simple words, it is the closed path in the circuit. For example, in this diagram, there are the three loops. See, the loop 1, 2, 5, 6, 1. Right? Second loop will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. And another is the loop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1. Again, it is very important to know that a mesh can be a loop, but the loop cannot be a mesh. Now we will see resistors in series. See, here in this diagram or in this circuit, the three resistors R1, R2 and R3 are connected in series with each other across this supply voltage of V volts, and therefore the same current is flowing through all these three resistors. This connection, this series connection is also called as end-to-end connection or cascade connection. Now if these voltages V1, V2 and V3 are the voltage drops across these three resistors R1, R2 and R3, then the supply voltage will be given as the addition of V1, V2 and V3. So by using the Ohm's law here, we can say V1 will be equal to I into R1, V2 will be I into R2 and V3 will be I into R3. So let R be the total resistance of the circuit. Here we are going to find out the total resistance of this series circuit. Then how to find out it? See, IR will be equal to IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3. Here by cancelling out the I, we can say R equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3. Means the total resistance will be equal to sum of the individual resistances in the series circuit. Now we will see the voltage division rule in the series circuit. See, as we know that the supply voltage is getting divided across the elements connected in the series. So voltage across any of the resistor in the series network is equal to the ratio of resistance of the resistor across the voltage is to be measured to the total resistance of series network multiplied by total voltage in the circuit. Means what? Suppose we have to find out this voltage V1, which is the voltage drop across this resistance R1. Then how to find out this V1? V1 will be equal to the resistance across which we are going to find out the voltage, take this resistance divided by the total resistance. How to find the total resistance in series circuit? It will be the simply addition of the resistances connected in series. So it will be R1 plus R2 and divided by the supply voltage. Now if you have to find out the voltage V2, the voltage drop across resistance R2, then V2 will be equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into the supply voltage V here. Now the resistance or resistors in parallel. See here in this circuit diagram, the three resistors R1, R2 and R3 are connected between the two junctions, that is in parallel to each other across this supply voltage of V volts. Then the current flowing through all the resistors is get divided here at that point, that is the resistor current I1, I2 and I3, but the voltage across this each resistor will be same and equal to this supply voltage. Now here as the current is get divided across the divided into three branches, so the total current, the total supply current drawn by the circuit will be I will be equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3. Then again by using the Ohm's law we can say this I1 will be equal to V by R1, I2 will be equal to V by R2 and I3 will be equal to V by R3. Now we have to find the equivalent or total resistance of this parallel circuit. So here we can write I equals to V by R is equal to V by R1 plus V by R2 plus V by R3. Here by taking the V as common or by cancelling this V, we can write it as 1 by R equals to 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus 1 by R3. So the reciprocal of total resistance is equal to the sum of reciprocal of individual resistances in the parallel circuit. Now here in parallel circuit, as the current is get divided into the each branch, so we have to find out the current. So for that we are using the current division rule in the parallel circuit. The current in any branch is equal to the ratio of opposite branch resistance to the sum of resistances multiplied by total current in the circuit. Means what? Here suppose we have to find out the current flowing through this branch containing the resistance R1. So how to find out it? I1 equals to the resistance which is opposite to this R1, that is the R2, okay, then divide by the addition of these two resistances, means R1 plus R2, and whole multiply by the current, total current of the circuit. Now if we have to find out the R2, then take the opposite resistance of this R2, that is the R1, divided by addition of R1 plus R2 multiply by total current. Fine. Now we are going to compare the series and parallel circuit. Here are the four important points of comparison. First is a connection diagram, which we have seen in the previous 4 slides. Now second is, as we know, in the series circuit current through all the three resistors is same, and in parallel circuit voltage across all the three resistors which are connected in parallel is same. Now in the series circuit, as this voltage get divided across three resistors, so the total voltage will be equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3, and in parallel circuit as current is get divided here, so the total current will be I1 plus I2 plus I3. Now in series circuit we have found the equivalent resistance as R equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3, and in parallel circuit the equivalent resistance will be 1 upon R equals to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. Now we are going to see the very important law in electrical circuit, that is the Ohm's law. What is the statement of Ohm's law? If temperature is remaining constant in the circuit, then current flowing through the circuit is directly proportional to voltage applied across the circuit, and this current is inversely proportional to the resistance connected in that circuit. Means here in this diagram, this current is directly proportional to the voltage and inversely proportional to the resistance. So we can write it as I equals to V by R. Okay, and as here we are going to find out the current, the unit will be ampere. From this formula we can also write, or we can also find out the value of resistance and voltage as R equals to V by I, unit of resistance is ohm, and V equals to I into R, and unit of voltage is volts. Now we are going to discuss the different types of energy sources. Fine. So there are the two basic types. First is the independent sources and second is the dependent sources. In independent sources there are two types, voltage source and current source. Again the voltage sources get divided as ideal voltage source and practical voltage source. Likewise the current source also gets divided as ideal current source and practical current source. And in dependent voltage sources there are the again four types. Now we will discuss the each type in detail. First of all we will see what are the independent energy sources. See, the independent sources are that which does not depend on any other quantity in the circuit. They are two terminal devices and has the constant value, that is the voltage across two terminal remains constant irrespective of the circuit conditions. So these independent energy sources are the voltage sources and current sources. In voltage sources there are again two types, ideal voltage source and practical voltage source. Similarly, in the current source there are two types, that is ideal current source and practical current source. See, in first of all we will see the ideal and practical voltage sources. Fine. See, the voltage source is the two terminal device whose voltage at any instant of time is constant, and this is independent of the current drawn from it. So such a voltage source is called as the ideal voltage source and have the zero internal resistance. Fine. In ideal voltage source the internal resistance is 0. But practically the ideal voltage source cannot be obtained anytime. So the source having some amount of internal resistance is known as the practical voltage source. Due to this internal resistance which is obtained in the ideal or practical voltage source, is the voltage drop takes place and it causes the terminal voltage to reduce. Okay, so if smaller is the terminal voltage of the voltage source, then more closer it is to the ideal source. Here is the symbolic representation for the voltage source. See the circuit diagram and characteristics of ideal and practical voltage source. First is the circuit diagram and characteristics for the ideal voltage source. Here in ideal voltage source there is no internal resistance present. So for this the characteristics will be constant for the ideal voltage source. And practical voltage source, in practical voltage source there is some internal resistance which is occurring in series with the voltage source, and because of this internal resistance the voltage drops takes place and the characteristics will be drooping characteristics, means here the voltage drops takes place. Now we will see ideal and practical current sources. See, an ideal current source is also the two terminal circuit element which supplies the same current to any load resistance connected across its terminal. And it is important to keep in mind that the current supplied by the current source is independent of voltage of source terminal, and it has the infinite resistance. But practical current source is presented as an ideal current source connected with the resistance in parallel. This is the symbolic representation for the current source. Now we will see the circuit diagram and characteristics of an ideal and practical current source. See in this figure, this is the figure for the ideal current source and this is the characteristics for ideal current source. Here no internal resistance is present in ideal current source, so the characteristics will be constant. But in practical current source some internal resistance is present parallel to this current source, so the characteristics will be drooping characteristics, means here the terminal voltage gets dropped. Fine. Now we will see the another important type of energy source, that is the dependent energy source. The source whose output voltage or current is not fixed but depends on the voltage or current in another part of the circuit is called as the dependent or control source. Fine. So, and these are the four terminal devices. So these energy sources, means dependent energy sources, are also divided as in the four types: voltage control voltage source, voltage controlled current source, current control voltage source, and last one is the current controlled current source. Now we will see them one by one. First is the voltage control voltage source, VC Vs. See, in voltage control voltage source, the voltage source is dependent on any element of the circuit. Here in this above figure, this voltage source across the source terminal VAB, this voltage source across the terminal VAB is depend on the voltage across the terminal VCD. Fine. So this voltage source is depend on this another voltage source. So how to find out this VAB is directly proportional to VCD, or we can say that VAB equals to K into VCD, where K is the constant of proportionality. Second type is the voltage controlled current source, VCCS. In voltage controlled current source, the current of source IAB depends on the voltage across the terminal CD, that is VCD. As shown in the figure, this current source is depend on the terminal VCD here. So we can say IAB is proportional to VCD. This IAB is proportional to VCD, or we can say IAB is equals to eta into VCD, where eta is the constant which is known as transconductance and its unit is mho. Now third type is the current controlled voltage source, means CCVS. In the current control voltage source, the voltage source of the network is depend upon the current of the network. Fine. So here the voltage source, this voltage source is depend on the current of the network. So VAB depending on the ICD, we can write it as VAB proportional to ICD, or either VAB equals to R into ICD, where R is also the constant. Now fourth type is current controlled current source, CCCS. In the current controlled current source, the source current depend on the current of the another branch. Fine, as shown here. So here the current IAB is depending on the current ICD. So we can write IAB proportional to ICD, or either we can write it as IAB is equals to beta into ICD, where beta is also the constant. Now up to here we are familiar with the types of energy sources. Now we will see the source transformation or source conversion, how to convert the voltage source into current source or current source into the voltage source. So source transformation simply means replacing one source by an equivalent source. A practical voltage source can be transformed into the equivalent practical current source, and similarly the practical current source into the practical voltage source. See, in figure A, this figure A represents the practical voltage source. Here in this voltage source in series with the internal resistance RV, while figure B represents the practical current source with the internal resistance RI, okay, parallel internal resistance. So for the practical voltage source, the load current, here the load current ILV is given by, ILV is equals to this V divided by, means voltage upon resistance, V upon RV plus RL, okay, this resistance and resistance of this load, where ILV, this ILV is the total load current for this practical voltage source. This V means the supply voltage, RV means the internal resistance of the voltage source, and this RL means the load resistance. Fine. Now we will see for the figure B. Now it is assumed that the load resistance RL in the equation 1 is connected at the terminal XY. See here across the XY. Now Similarly, for the practical current source, the load current will be given as ILI or IL1 equals to I into Ri upon Ri plus RL, where ILI is the load current for the practical current source, I is the current, Ri is the terminal or internal resistance of the current source, RL is the load resistance connected across the terminal XY in the figure B. Now, the two sources become identical, means equation 1 and 2, or these two sources means voltage source and current source will be identical when we will equate the equation 1 and 2. So, here we are equating the equation 1 and 2, V upon RV plus RL equals to I into Ri divided by Ri plus RL. However, for the current source, the terminal voltage at XY will be IRI, means XY terminal are open. So, we can write it as V equals to I into Ri. Fine, we can write this voltage as I into Ri. So, therefore, we will get this equation as Rv plus Rl equals to Ri plus Rl, or either by cancelling the Rl from both sides, we are getting simply the Rv equals to Rl. Therefore, for any practical voltage source, if the ideal source is V and internal resistance is Rv, then the voltage source can be replaced by the current source I with the internal resistance in parallel with that current source. Means in the practical voltage source, the resistance is connected in the series, and in practical current source, the resistance is connected in parallel. But the value of these two resistances must be equal. Then only we can convert these sources with each other. Fine. Now we will see the conversion of voltage source into current source. See, this is the diagram for the voltage source and this is for the practical current source. Now we are going to convert this voltage source into current source. When the voltage source is connected with the resistance in series and it has to be converted into the current source, then the resistance is converted into the parallel, okay, as shown here. Now how to find out this current source? By simply using the Ohm's law, we can write Is equals to this Vs divided by R. Then we can convert it into the current source. And at last we are going to convert the current source into voltage source. See, this is the current source, the value of I and R are given, and we have to convert into the voltage source. So, in the above circuit diagram, the current source which is connected in parallel with this resistance is transformed into the voltage source by replacing this resistance into the series with the voltage source. Then how to find out this Vs? Simply by Ohm's law, Is into R. So, in this part of the basic principles of circuit analysis, what we have seen? Firstly, we have seen the basic types of electrical circuits. After that, we have seen what are the electrical circuit elements, that is the R, L, C, then voltage source, current source, etc. Then we have seen the concept of open circuit and short circuit. After that, we have seen what is the branch, node, junction, mesh and loop. Then we have seen how to connect the resistors in series, and in that we have seen the voltage division rule. After that, we have seen how to connect the resistors in parallel and current division rule in the parallel circuit. After completing these two topics, we have seen the comparison between the series and parallel circuit. Then one basic and very important law, that is Ohm's law. After that, we have seen the various types of electrical sources. In that, there were the two main types. First is the dependent energy sources, having another two types, that is the ideal and practical voltage source and ideal and practical current source. In second important type, that is independent energy source, there were the four types. First was the voltage control voltage source, then voltage control current source, current control voltage source and current control current source. And at last we have seen the source transformation, means how to convert the voltage source into current source and how to convert the current source into voltage source. So guys, this was all about the basic principles of circuit analysis. I hope you might have understood this topic. If having any queries, please drop your message on my email ID mtnaule@kkvak.edu.in. So, thank you very much. Have a good time.